Welcome to Curated by Culture. I'm your curator, Cassandra. Thank you as always for joining me. How's your head? How's your heart? You don't forget to check in with yourselves. It's very important. I am back and live, and I have been thinking about a lot of things over the last couple of weeks that I haven't been recording live. And I had a really interesting conversation with somebody. We were talking about podcasts. I guess I'm noticing a lot more podcasts these days. And I'm like, well, that's a good thing. And we were having a conversation. They were like, you think so? I said, I think we need less celebrity podcasts and more just real talk. And when I say celebrity and I put up these quotes, I mean, don't give us the pretty parts and the pretty pictures or just the sports talk, the things that are obvious. I think we need to get into a place of fresh perspective, fresh ideas, heart talk. Like this is what I want. I feel like my podcast is. I feel like it's heart talk, and we need more heart talk. So I'm seeing a lot more. I don't know yet if we've gotten to the fresh perspective point, but I know we need to drive out the reality TV shows and the social media and the negative speak, the red pill ideology, because it is destroying our children. It really is. Like, I can't believe in 2024, we're still having conversations about body counts. I saw two grown women talking about body counts, and I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, that's such a childish conversation, and we're still having it. Like, how does this uplift our community? How does this change our community? And so I really I encourage people, like, if you have something good to share that might shake the core of what we know, force us to unlearn or force us to decolonize our minds, share it. Like, have somebody was like, well, it's competition. How is it competition? There's 7.5 billion people in this world. How can we be competition for each other? If I have a couple of hundred and you have a couple of hundred, like each one teach one, right? Like that's the idea. So I think that's a good thing to have it. I think we need to get away. There's still so much going on. But I think the biggest topic I'm seeing on most podcasts is we're still having the conversation about women versus men. And if you remember, I talked about Venus and Mars, not Venus versus Mars, because we are not each other's competition, right? That's not how that works. We're not against each other. We're not fighting each other. We're supposed to be for each other. And I don't think we talk about that enough. And so I wanted to talk about that today, but I think we have to get to the root of the problem, which is patriarchy. So I did make notes because I have a lot to say on certain topics, and patriarchy is one of them. So, in order for us to start, we need to talk about what is patriarchy. I know a lot of men are going to be like, no, that's not true because it's where a man leads and the Bible says to lead. It's not what I'm talking about. We have to understand that patriarchy in this country, and I say country, but really in this world that we live in now, is rooted in white supremacy, right? And so what I thought I'd do is let's go down the timeline and then get back to the women and men, right? So let's understand the root of the problem first. I am going to bring this up because before I start, I want to bring this up. Pro-Black is not anti-white. Somebody sent me a message and they felt like, oh, it's kind of like you're saying negative things against white people. And that couldn't be further from the truth because people who know me. And they know that's not something I would ever do. Pro-Black is not anti-white, but I am a Black woman, so I can only speak from that position. I can't speak from a position of a white person, or especially not a white woman, because that's not my story. So please follow along. If you have an objection, or if you feel like, oh, you guys aren't monolithic, it's the same for us, share with me. I'd love to have anybody on that wants to talk. But I really want us to keep that in mind for all of my episodes. Like when I say Black people this and Black, I'm talking to my people mostly. Yes, this is open for everybody. Everybody can stand to decolonize their minds or deconstruct their minds. But I'm talking for the betterment of my people because we do not have the same privilege as other people. So when we talk about patriarchy, I'm going to start where I'm going to talk about in general. In a patriarchal society, the idea is, and we're going to start as kids, when we're little, kids are taught, young girls are taught to look nice, clean the house, cook. There are toys like to raise a baby, ovens, kitchens, grocery stores, everything. Babies, little girls, young girls, they're given these types of toys because you're being groomed to become a mother, essentially, and that's a blessing. So don't think that's not where we're going with this. And then on the other end, for little boys, they're given things like cars and BB guns and bats and basketballs, really just recreational activity. Because the idea is you're going to be a leader, right? A patriarchal system says to white people, you're entitled to everything you want. That's the truth. That's just how that's created. In a patriarchal system, too, it says you're the man, you're the leader. So it's the same for black and white. You're the man, you're the leader. And that's the idea of it. Your job and your role is going to be to become a provider. Full stop. So you're going to do these activities and leave the work for the women. That's already a problem. Okay. So now, as white women and men get older, the women go to school, they go to college. Like, yeah, get your education. But the idea almost immediately is like, you have to get married. And we're going back to, back as far back as we all can remember. It's always been that thought process. Go to school, get a good education, get married, have some kids, and now you're going to be a stay-at-home mom or whatever the case might be. And that's where my knowledge of that family ends, because again, I am a black woman. Now, we're going to take the same system. Kids are all the same, it's regardless of what it is, but we're going to talk about the black family. And because this is for my sisters and brothers. Back in the days when Tulsa was happening, yes, there was this traditional structure of a black family. There was a mom and a dad, and we'll bring up Tulsa. It was this strong mom and dad who went to Howard, who went to Spelman, who went to Morehouse, who built community. The white supremacist system could not stomach the idea of that. So it broke it down. It broke it down every time they did it, wherever they did it. And it wasn't just Tulsa. These things were built in other places. These things were built everywhere. And every time they were destroyed. So now let's fast forward. Okay. If you remember growing up watching TV, the Cosby family was our first idea or first vision of the traditional family. A mom who was successful, a dad who was successful, children who had to also reach for success. And it was wonderful and it was great and all those wonderful things. But we know that does not actually happen in real life. It was more like Good Times. And fun fact, the mom on Good Times was supposed to be a single mom living in the projects. And she fought to have her husband in there. But still, the role is always the husband is supposed to be the provider. I'm not going to bring up the Cosby Show because it was a little structured a little differently, but the role is the same. The husband is a provider, and that was it. Now, we know that the patriarchal system was not built for us. That's why I say it's rooted in white supremacy, because the system, the non-broken system, because remember, this system is not broken. It was designed this way. The non-broken system put us at disadvantages at every turn. It took black men out of the home. It made black women have to go out, work 2-3 jobs, which if you've worked a job and you have to come home and raise kids, has already put us at that disadvantage. We've talked about the parents who were acting out of a deficit. And what happens? You have these hurts and these traumas because your mom had to work 3 jobs and so on and so forth. And she can barely find time to love you the way you needed to be loved. And it just kept going and going. And at the same turn, you had moms who resented the dads because they weren't there. But again, that was because of white supremacy. They made sure they tore our families apart at every turn. They locked up our husbands. They sent them to war. They got them hooked on drugs. They created a beauty standard. They created it. That's a white supremacist system that you had to have straight hair in order for a man to like you. And then you had somebody like Madam C.J. Walker who did not feel liked or did not feel loved, who created a toxic chemical for us to put on our hair to essentially kill ourselves. Because ladies, if you're putting relaxers in your hair, again, sidebar, you're putting relaxers in your hair, you're killing yourself, right? If you guys don't know Tommy the Lawyer on TikTok, you must find him. He's out in Philly, but he fought a case against relaxers, especially for black women. And the way he scared everybody on TikTok into not using that was insane. Anyway, let's get back to the story. So you had a system, again, it's all patriarchal, right? But then we're fighting to straighten our hair. We're fighting to look like something. And they're showing you like this is the beauty standard. And so you lost a lot of men to clear palm-colored women, which I'm not here to debate that. That is what it is. I don't see anything wrong with interracial dating, but we have to understand a lot of that came from a patriarchal system, because way back in the days, the men loved the natural sisters, right? Let's be honest. Even the white men. Even the white men. Anyway, And then, so the moms didn't have kids. The moms had to have kids by themselves. They had to raise these kids by themselves. And so began our disdain for each other, right? So all of that rooted in patriarchy, all of that rooted in white supremacy. And now here we are today where we have to speak on worth, and we have to continue to fight each other, and we have to continue to be negative towards each other. And we don't understand that this is something that we have to unlearn. We will never be able to really connect with each other if we don't unlearn. We were taught to look beautiful. We were taught to become moms. We were taught that you have to look like something in order to get a husband. Patriarchy leads to consumerism, which lends itself to capitalism. So now I'm going to talk about capitalism and the capitalism of all of this, right? The beauty industry is one of the biggest industries. But what drives? Like, yeah, I want to look nice and pretty, but I'm not about to spend millions of dollars on hair, on makeup and nails. And, I saw on TikTok recently, this girl said she was going out, and she asked the guy, like, are you paying? What's up? He was like, no, we could just split it. So she showed up as her regular self. She was like hoodies. She was wearing a hoodie. She didn't do any makeup. She put her hair up in a bun, and she just showed up. And he said, well, if it's not a date and, X, Y, and Z, what am I doing this for? And I kind of felt that on so many levels. I haven't really dressed up like I used to always dress up since 2020, because a lot of things have changed for me. And I think we're starting to see that. And I hope we all wake up to see these things. But, I'm not going to get into that. I was about to, but I have to stay on topic. So again, then patriarchy leading to consumerism, now leading to capitalism. So capitalism, consumerism are the same thing, but it's like, so then you have gyms, which, again, fun fact, sidebar, gyms only exist in America because of what they feed us, right? If anybody that's traveled, you can go places, you will never find a gym other than in your hotel. We have gyms on every third or fourth corner, and their business is booming at the beginning of the year because we're taught to make New Year's resolutions, and in January when we should be hibernating and purging, we're taught all these things. This is the system. It is designed against us. But this leads to women going out getting plastic surgery to look like something that is almost unattainable, not naturally anyway. You know what I'm talking about. Adding fake hair, relaxers, wigs, weaves, fake nails, all these things. And I'm not saying we don't do these things for ourselves. We should absolutely do these things for ourselves. If you're watching me, you see I painted my nails. But this is what happens, and our worth is tied into what we look like. And that's what women do. You're buying clothes and you're buying these things to appeal to somebody. And our worth is tied into having a man, because that's what we're taught at a young age. You got to get married. You have to have a man. We're not overly taught success or to be strong and independent and go out and reach for the stars. None of us, women or men, we're not taught that. We're taught, for men, your worth is tied into, can you provide? And that's a patriarchal system. You have to survive, to provide, to be worthy. That's a lie. We are all given our worth at birth. We are worthy at birth. When God grants us life, we are given our worth at birth. These other things are created and designed by a patriarchal system to kind of embed in our brains that you have to be this and you have to have that in order to be, in order to be a woman. I mean, if you're a woman, you have to have these things and you have to do these things. And it leads to the system that they created. It helps them that Black women care about our appearance so much because we buy into capitalism. We buy into the very system that lines their pockets. Ladies, we love Gucci, Louis, all these brands. And we now know, because I keep talking about it, who profits off of that? Not us. We're not buying from each other. We're buying from these brands that they don't care about us in any shape, way, or form. So we need to start breaking that thought process down for that reason. And for the men, the same. You're taught that your worth is attached to if you can be a good provider. And it's unfortunate, women, because we bought into this system, we see men that way. Oh, I used to have a podcast where I talked about that before, like, would you date a guy with no money and this and that? And I'm like, listen, that's not what I'm attracted to. I'm not attracted to your money. I see the worth in you. I'm more attracted to intelligence and your heart and your character than anything. And so, but a lot of women don't see men that way because that's what we're taught. Oh, he has to have a lot of money. You're taught that almost from birth. As you get older, men, you're also taught that if you're in the streets and you see the guy, the cool guy with a lot of money, all the ladies like him. So you're like, yeah, that's what I want. And you're taught that that's how you are worthy. And that's not even true. You are a person too. You deserve to have your needs met in a way that's not attached to your pocket. Ladies, understand that. Men have needs too. Emotional needs. We must meet each other's emotional needs. We must figure out what it is. It can't just be giving you money, because guess what happens the second he loses his job, or the second he doesn't have any money? He loses his sense of worth. And now our families are in a downward spiral. Not all of them. Trust me. I've seen situations where it can work differently, but they're connected in a different way. This is the conversation that we're still having today. We're still seeing men and women fight each other, but because we don't know that we're blaming each other, and we don't know we should be blaming the system. We should be deconstructing our minds and getting out of this system that we've been placed in and we've been put in, because none of it benefits us. It all benefits patriarchy and capitalism. Because when you feel unworthy, you turn to the things that they put in our neighborhoods. Right? So look at what they do. You feel unworthy. A lot of us turn to drugs, alcohol, drugs. We know what they've placed in every Black community: liquor stores. They make money off of the system. You feel unworthy, you turn to consumerism. A lot of people do. You're buying clothes, you're buying things to make you happy, to bring happiness to your home. That is their system. Now, if you healed from all of this, if you take all of this out of your mind and you heal from all of this and you learn a little bit more of who you are. And ladies, I have to say this to you a lot. A lot of times when we break up with somebody, you are like constantly doing the consumerism thing to be seen by the next person. I think if we all, and this is for men too, I think if we all took the time post breakup now, like right now, if something is happening and you're in a bad situation, you get out of it, take the time to get to know yourself. Deconstruct your mind from that system that we've been built in, this perfect, happy family that we've seen on the other side. It's not on our side. That perfect, happy family can't be on our side because the system was designed for it not to work for us. It was designed for us to continuously fight each other. And let me tell you, when we do that in such a public way, we fuel the fire that they have created. They have the coals, they have the lighter, they have the kerosene, they have the wood, they have everything, because they can see us publicly fighting each other, online fighting each other. Like my heart breaks for Cardi and the back and forth she's been through, but look what she does. She goes online on their platforms and gives them fuel for that fire. Oh, look, this is what they're going through. Oh, look, this is what they're doing now. Oh, good. They keep trying to figure out ways, because we keep getting smarter and we keep getting out of their traps. But the more we do this type of negative speak towards each other publicly, it helps them. It's like, oh, we need more data for how we can do it. How can we keep them down? How do we keep them stuck on stupid? That's what they're doing. They're gathering the data they need from us publicly. And then what they're doing is they're taking their dollars and they're giving us reality TV show platforms where all these Black men and women do is throw things at each other. And they give you social media, and then they give you red pill style podcast platforms. Imagine there was more platforms like mine where people are talking heart talk. How much could we grow from this type of stuff? They don't do that. And they do it in a smart way. They give it to Diddy, do your revolt thing and have these shows, Carisha Please, and all these shows. And you got to stop and say, what? How is this winning? What is she talking about? She was talking about golden showers. I have to whisper that because my mom listens. Luckily, my mother doesn't know what that is. But we have to get out of that trap. That is a trap. They give the money and the power to men. You don't see any women with streaming platforms. I would like to have one, as I'm sitting here thinking about that. Because there are some really good podcasts out there. There's a podcast with these four moms. They're kind of friends. Melanie Fiona is one of them. I watched like one or two clips. It's more geared towards moms but friendships and those types of things. It's such a good podcast. We need more of that and less of the trash. We are never going to get out of their trap if we keep playing the game their way. When I say the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house, that's what I'm talking about. If we do the opposite, you see my little tiny platform that got a couple of hundred followers and a couple of hundred likes and listens and downloads. These type of platforms is what we need to kind of break the system, but it will never grow. They will almost make sure it will never grow. And they'll make sure to keep, and I don't want to call these men toxic, but unhealed men in on platforms and in power, because unhealed men don't want to talk about stuff like this, and that's a fact. No disrespect, but I don't think any unhealed men listen to me, so I should be okay. But and truth be told, if we can break out of those systems, we can all grow. That lack of growth a lot of times we see in men, that comes from that system that they've been told you have to just be a provider, and that's all you need to do is be a provider. They're not taught or shown how to grow. They're not taught or shown how to be emotionally available for women or emotionally intelligent in a way that helps them to choose better women. No, they're shown choose the one that looks nicest. Choose with that part. Don't choose with your brain. Don't choose with your heart. Choose with something else. The chick with no clothes on, that's the most appealing to you, right? The one who's showing you everything. She's showing you what she has, and you like it. And all you're doing is choosing that over and over and over and over again. And then you're wondering why men and women can get along. And then you're on a platform speaking negatively of women. And then women now are going to chime in. Oh, yes, you too. And what do you guys do? And they're calling you Pookie, and they're calling you Ray Ray. Remember Pookie and Ray Ray? They're calling you Pookie, and they're calling you Ray Ray. And then the men are saying the women are terrible. That's why we like white women. Again, no disrespect, but you understand this is a constant battle within our community. We have to figure out how to get out of that. But a lot of times with those men, that's what happens. It's not a woman versus man thing. It is us together against the system designed to keep us broken. And the only way we get out of it is to learn these things, understand these things, and see them for ourselves. I can tell you all I want, what I'm telling you now, but you have to be able to see it and recognize it and go, you know what? That's true. That is true. When I am sad and lonely, I'm going to reach for anything. And as I'm reaching for anything, I'm going to spend money on this and that to look good. I'm going to spend money on hair and nails, and I'm going to spend money on new clothes. And, I'm going to spend money going out, and I'm going to spend money doing this. And the same for the men. Like, I'm going to trick on a woman so I can get this because I just want to touch. No one wants to take time to get to heal the broken parts of us that came out of that system that was designed to break us. And if we can heal those broken parts, if we can accept that and choose to start listening and understanding, this is what I need. I don't just want to be a mom. And let's be honest about the idea of the patriarchal system where the mom stays home. Is that still happening? Did we not all, especially those with kids, witness in 2020 as you had to stay home with your children? Being a mom is a hard job. A stay-at-home mom, that is work. But being a mom and being the main one that the children constantly go to, that is 24/7 work. That really is 24/7 work. So I want men to stop seeing women in that light. Like, this is all. No, women have so much worth. We are the connectors. We are the builders of community. We are the ones who reach out. If you live in a neighborhood, and sure, if you're men, you guys can connect on that level, but you're not thinking, hey, you have a 10-year-old son, I have a 10-year-old son, let's get our kids to play together. That doesn't work that way. You might both be outside with your lawnmowers or your toys or whatever, and you can connect, but you don't think to connect your kids. That's the women do that. Women are the connectors of the world, which is, again, and when you talk about Black women, we already know they will try to keep Black women down because Black women are the ones who connect. We're the glue that holds the family together. Dad can't really do much. In order for dad to be a good provider, and understand this, I know that's in the Bible. Yes, it is. God has said the man should be the leader of the home. And, men will be like, oh, but these women, they don't want to submit. And that, again, is a lie. Women will submit to the right man. If you are really a leader, where are we going? Where are we going? Like, for real. If you're really a leader, I will follow you. But we can't really do that because, again, I know it's a patriarchal system, but the patriarchal system is rooted in white supremacy. So it's already designed to keep you down, brother. It's already designed to keep you down. And once you lose your sense of worth, you lose interest in things. You lose that strong willingness and that ability to want to do things and grow and all these other things. So if we start looking at our disconnect as, it's not us, it's not me versus you, it's not you versus me. Like, you're not my enemy. We have to connect with each other and and really focus on the true enemy and how do we change it. One of the biggest things that would dismantle their system is that if we collectively stop feeding into it, stop jumping on their platforms, stop jumping on social media and letting them see, like, who owns all these platforms? You got Zuckerberg. I don't. TikTok is the guy's from Singapore, but also in bed with the government. Zuckerberg's in bed with the government. X. Don't even get me started on X. You have to understand. Let's stop jumping on their platforms. Let's stop giving them fuel for the fire. Because if we just work quietly towards repairing these things, we can change it. Let's stop giving access to the terrible, terrible podcast programs, the red pill programs, and the young girls who are on here only talking about sex. Like, this is not, we have to erase our minds of all that stuff in order for us to ever be able to truly connect with each other in such a beautiful way that it can change things. And the connection first has to start within us. It has to start within us, and we have to be reaching a little bit more for God, because I feel like we're living in godless times. But I'm sure you guys don't want to hear that. I think if we start to deconstruct that mentality, work on the emotional healing, work on the self, because what has been done to us up until now has been a lot. It is going to require a lot of digging in, a lot of self work, a lot of going, okay, yeah, that's not true. Because, truth be told, we're going to have our doubts about these things. Well, am I pretty? Because if I don't show people my body and nobody's saying you look pretty, you understand what I'm saying? Like, this is for women or for men. I don't have enough money. If I'm not giving a woman money, how will she like me? Because truth be told, ladies, a lot of you ask about a man's pockets before you ask about who he is. Because I've seen some, I don't like to call people ugly. I'll say different looking people have a lot of money and you'll go for them because of that. But let's remove the money from them. Would you have gone for that? So now that man's worth is only tied to his money, but he might be the smartest, funniest, sweetest guy. Because again, ladies, you guys are choosing with the wrong thing. And I know that it won't work if you're not attracted to somebody, but guess what? I bet you if you did the self-work, if you stopped reaching for any skin or anybody's money and any of these things we've been taught, you do the self-work as you're moving about in the world and you're out there meeting new people. And this is for men and women. This is a true fact, and I've seen it happen. As you work on yourself and you heal yourself and you emotionally heal, like internally, emotionally start healing, you make yourself smarter in all the ways that we've been talking about since season 1, season 2. As you start to move about and as we're making connections, as we're building communities, because that's the whole purpose of this. This is the purpose of life, right? As we're building ourselves, building communities, and you're doing the things that you normally do and you love, you're going to find a real connection. And that's the heart of everything, connection. But you're going to find that. You just have to be willing to do the work to deconstruct your mind to find it. We got to stop looking at things from this patriarchal system that we've been taught in, we've been born into. Listen, I wrote these notes and I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I talked about consumerism, capitalism, all that stuff. Sorry, I have to come back to it. Yeah, real connection. Oh, I didn't even need my notes. But yeah, I think that if we do that and we start to look at ourselves and we liberate ourselves, we liberate our communities, what will then happen is we'll start to connect with the right people. We'll start to make good connections and we'll break that system. That system will come toppling down. You know why? We are responsible for $1 trillion in goods and services. And everything I've talked about, goods and services is in that number. And if we are able to heal ourselves, we heal our communities, we heal our children, truth be told, we'll kind of heal the world a little bit because a lot of things come from us. We can get back to being the innovators and the makers and all these other things. We can start tech programs where we're no longer looking at each other as competition. We're like, hey, how do we all come together and invest into programs that are for us? Like, I talked about this before where the kids were on TikTok making dances, like the Black kids, and they were being stolen by other people and they were getting paid for it, these other people. And because we don't have our community in order yet, we can't get our community straight yet. There was a guy who was trying to build something like Clubhouse. Whatever happened to that guy? I wonder. I always wonder about these things. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. For us, men and women, to kind of get together, we need to stop having that same tired discourse online that Black women are this and Black women are that and Black men cheat and this and that. The cheating. Wait, who? Rewind. That's another topic for another day. I was just thinking. I was writing notes for another episode about the cheating and all that. So stay tuned. But yeah, if we can deconstruct our minds of these things, we can really start to create some real change. And I want us to. I really do. I think that's all my notes. I should have been looking at my notes the whole time. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. But yeah, we need to let go of the idea that our worth is tied into men. You're not just providers. You deserve love. You are a person, you are a human. I want you to stop thinking of yourself as just having to be the leader and the provider. You are already those things. Okay? You are those things. You are the leader. You are the head of the family. And so I hope you will provide, but find your true worth. Heal the broken parts inside of you that don't know what emotional maturity looks like, being emotionally intelligent looks like, and making yourselves emotionally available. Because when you find, fellas, when you find true love, like the right woman for you, not just the right physical, what she looks like, but the right woman for you, when you open that part of your heart, you are unstoppable. You are a force to be reckoned with. And I've seen it. Trust me, I know it. I really want that for you guys. And same for you ladies. When you stop, I know I talk a lot about, if you go onto the internet and you just show people your body, that's what they're going to be attracted to. And I'm not saying you don't have a great body. But ladies, especially my sisters, we are everything. We are chef's kiss, the salt of the earth. We do not need to show men all of our goods in order for us to feel worthy. We are worthy. We are all worthy at birth. God gave us worth. The second we became alive and we came into this world. But ladies, if you can choose to stop buying into the system of the straight hair, the nails, the plastic surgery, all these things, the diet and exercise, and you start working on the inner parts of you that says, I'm not just a mom, I'm not just a wife. I am worthy and I need these things too. And this is who I am. Please see me and love me. And we have our emotional wants and needs too. And in that, guess what? We are soft. That whole I'm in my soft era. We are soft. We should have that should have been an always constant reoccurring thing, but we had to be strong. We had to be made strong because we had to endure these things. But as you are on this path of becoming the person you want to be, find your true worth, heal yourself emotionally, internally, decolonize your mind. And when you meet the person who's right for you, you can now rest in your really soft era, because they're going to complement you so well that the things you want will come to you naturally. And that's just a fact. I'm telling you that, and I'm living proof of that. Like the things I want, the things I want to do, and now I'm living in my purpose, and I'm able to be a creative, and I'm able to be a great mom. Well, my daughter said that. I'm not labeling myself as a great mom. My daughter told me that. But I'm able to be these things, and it's such a great feeling here because I have peace. I have peace that surpasses all understanding. I'm good. And ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, we have to remember this one thing. The patriarchal system might be rooted in white supremacy, but we have God. We are all rooted in God. He created us. He's our creator. We are his people. So we have something far greater than any system that has ever tried to dismantle or tear us down or kill us or keep us down could ever try to do. We have God, and keep him into your relationships and watch us flourish and grow. And there will be no more discourse of men and women and Black women do this and Black men are this and da da da. We need to stop that conversation. It's so tired. Anyway, I think that was it for me for today. I didn't really use my notes as much as I wanted to, but it's always up in here and it's always in my heart. So, follow me. I want to keep saying follow me on these platforms, but really what I'm going to ask you guys to do me this one solid. If you like this episode, share it with all your friends, share it with your friends' friends, tell your friends to share it with their friends. But can you guys do me some favors? Can you go to my Not on social media. I don't care about social media. So if you're on my Instagram or my TikTok, it's CXC, all that other stuff, blah blah blah. What I prefer is if you are following me and watching me on YouTube, like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel. If you are listening on Spotify, YouTube, whatever other audio podcast system streaming service you're using, listening to, leave comments and leave ratings for me, please. This is how we change the world. I'm not trying to go viral on social media. I'm trying to help go viral around the world so that we can finally start changing some things and we can see a different world. I don't know when the end will come. What I do know, while we're here, shouldn't we live more peacefully? Anyway, I love you, Ma. Call me. And as always, free Palestine.